Hi there, welcome to Excelsior Tech, and this is your IT Toolbox. I have a piece of software that I use all the time. If you work on computers all the time, there's usually a certain set of softwares that you need to put on every single time, or you need to update them a lot of times. I found a piece of software that can help you do this silently and quickly in just a few clicks. Are you ready? Let's go.
Okay, so how Ninite works is you have fresh installation of Windows. All of us have a list of applications we always put on there, be it Chrome browser or 7-zip, something like that you just always use. And so you're going to have to go through all that list. Unless you do some sort of like generalized image that you put on all your machines. If you're that advanced, then you're probably doing that. You're probably doing, a list of applications that you're going to have to put on each time. So Ninite helps you streamline that. So what we're doing is we're going to go to ninite.com. That is ninite.com. And you're greeted with this very simple web page. This is the web page you're going to interface the most with. So this is really cool. So they tell you everything that you need to do right here. There's no tricks to it. The list down here is all freeware and open source type stuff. So I'm just going to show you what I'll do. So I'll say, okay, I'm going to put on a couple browsers here. I usually do at least 2 browsers for different reasons. Zoom, Discord. So I'm just going to click all the stuff that I normally put on there. FileZilla, Notepad, Putty. You're going to pick your own set. They're just things that I use a lot. And these are a lot of things that I already have installed. So once you do that, you're going to click on Get Your Ninite. Then you're going to download a small exe. I'm going to click on one thing that I don't have already installed. I don't have Blender installed right now. So click Get Your Ninite. You're going to see this little short page right here that's going to tell you all the things you need to do. It's really simple. Download, run, share. Okay, so when I open this up, you're going to see that the ones that are already installed and are up to date will just say, okay, and up to date. Now, if it's going to install them, you're going to see that it's going to download them and then install them. The cool thing about Ninite, it does this all silently in the background. I have used Ninite just because certain installers on some of these programs, especially something like Java or something like that, is kind of verbose. And I just want a basic installation. The Ninite installer, if I just click a couple things in there and just use it even for that one application, it just does it silently. Okay, so you see them it's just going to be downloading. And you'll just have to wait. It's going to download them, and it's getting it from the repository straight from the company. So depending on the repository, it could be fast or slow. Just depends on the company where they're getting it from. The Blender repository, I think, is just a little bit slower. Oh, and another side thing: if you see things that sometimes, if the program is already installed and you run this again, it's going to tell you that it updated it instead of just okay and up to date. That's actually pretty awesome too. So keep this little exe. You can use it later. If you just want to run it once a week or even create a scheduled task that runs it once a week, it will update any program that needs to be updated, or just skip it if it's already up to date. Pretty slick. Okay, now it finally finished downloading Blender. You'll see the rest of everything else is okay and up to date. I've already got them installed. It's going to silently in the background. You just saw a little prompt come up, but it's going to silently install Blender. Just took a few moments and it's done. Any other programs that were needing to be updated or installed will have the same kind of thing. You may have noticed that I click the show details here. I usually do that with Ninite just because if there is an error or something that happens, for instance, occasionally I've noticed the where is it? The paint.net installation. For some reason, their servers sometimes will time out. Something like that will happen. But if there is some sort of error, you'll see it in here. If not, you can just run it like this and it'll just go through. And if something did fail, it'll tell you. And then you can just say, okay, I'll try again. Or if it's done, you'll just see the close button here. So there is one small drawback to this. Anytime something is updated or freshly installed, you will see that it puts the desktop icon on there. That may not be a problem for most of you. I find it just to be a minor annoyance, so I don't really care. I'll just delete it. I usually like a fresh and clean desktop without any icons on it. You'll notice I even hide my taskbar here. So that's just one thing to recognize. Anytime you run this, it's going to do that. And that's unavoidable. There is no way to turn that off, at least not with the free version. Which brings me to my next topic. Let's talk about the pro version of this. Ninite is a company. So if you go to Ninite Pro, click the Ninite Pro up here, it'll show you all the pro features. So what's cool is you can actually get the Ninite Pro. It is $1 per month per machine. What it does is you download a little client, and then you can add policies to it and what applications you want to see installed on your client remotely. You can do a little bit of remote management. It's pretty cool. And it will keep those applications up to date depending on the way you've assigned your policy to that machine. So check out this page right here. This page, when you go to Ninite and click on Ninite Pro, will basically tell you every single little aspect of how the Ninite Pro works. And I really don't want to go into it. You really just read the page. It tells you in a really succinct way what this does. And one of those features of Ninite Pro is that you can actually disable the shortcuts that show up on your desktop every time you install things. It also has quite a bit of an expanded list too. For instance, I believe Citrix Workspace is in the Pro version. It also gives you basic statistics of the computer, how full the hard drive is, whether or not it has some security patches applied to it, things like that. So you can do some really basic and really cheap for the money. Only $1 a month is really awesome, keeping your computers up to date. So why would you want to use this? I would say especially for me, I noticed family members, when they live far away, it's hard to keep them up to date whenever there's some sort of security update and things like that keeping their applications up to date for $1 a month is just really not that bad. So you might also notice at the bottom here, there's this Ninite Pro Classic, which is included with your subscription of Ninite Pro. Now, I'm going to click on this page, show you some more about the Classic version. If you run it straight, you get this kind of older interface that I don't find particularly useful. It lets you scan other computers on the network and run the client. I don't really use it for that. What I do is I have this exe. It comes down as a little exe, and I use it with the command line switches that you can use. So, for instance, I use at work fog for our image deployment of Windows images. And what's nice is fog lets you do what's called snap-ins, which is basically your ability to send and deploy softwares and things like that remotely with fog. So with command line version of Ninite, I just send it over the network, and then I use these command line switches to do things to like install or update. And it's really nice, very flexible. It makes it to where I don't have to have the Ninite client installed on all these machines and be able to get some of those automatic updates the way I want to do it. So for instance, you can see here there's a disable shortcut. So I run it with the command line switches to install certain applications plus put disable shortcuts, things like that. And that's Ninite for you. It's an application I've used for probably about 12 years now. I've used it for a very long time. I have the Pro version as well for stuff I do at work. And it's something that I think you will find extremely handy. Game changer type of program. And if you want to see more applications and software tips and things like that for your IT toolkit, please subscribe, and I'll see you later.